On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Israel is definitely starting to show themselves, and I think that's been a big part of what's been playing out. Again, a lot of people, I find, are taking many of the things that are happening and looking at them at surface level only, and really only looking at one thing at a time, and then making assessments from there. When in reality, you need to step back and you need to realize not only one, that there's many things happening simultaneously all over the place that affect things differently, but the timing is key. The fact that it's all happening right now. And then if you can even extrapolate a hair further, and this is the trickier part, is to notice that there are forced behaviors or behavior modifications that are going to have to come from some of the things that are happening in the way that Trump initiated certain things, such as the Iran war, and how that is creating sort of a focus, one, on Israel's, Netanyahu and others' warmongering desires. They did something pretty bad. Trump called them out on it, too, on the world stage. Not good, but again, this is part of what's supposed to play out. Why is it specifically the chosen people that are choosing to act like this? Trump's trying to go about this in a little more intelligent way, but they're not. So again, it's understanding the bigger picture. The Strait of Hormuz, much the same. By forcing this Iran situation the way he did, and then creating the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, knowing how our allies would react, and knowing it doesn't matter to us at all. We got Venezuela before that. We already supplied a solid source of oil, plus we've got a bunch of it ourselves. Liquid natural gas prices of those are going through the roof. Well, we happen to be large producers of that. Gee, that seems like that's a positive for us because it's very expensive to do it here. We have to pay American wages. So we need a higher price to make it affordable. This is an intelligent, intentional process. This is not accidental. There are no, Trump didn't know about this. People really do not get the bigger picture. They, of course, knew the Strait of Hormuz was going to happen the way it did. Duh, totally. And on top of that, they have it already gamed out 6-7 steps past wherever the people bitching about the Strait of Hormuz are. Anybody bitching about the Strait of Hormuz right now is literally 5, 6, 7 steps behind schedule. And frankly, should be viewed as such. Maybe they're just trying to hype stuff, possible. So a lot is happening. I had a lot to talk about. Hopefully be able to prove and demonstrate all this stuff. This is a really great article. And now I feel like I don't have as much time to read on it. But it just really talks about how the left in general, this is a psychologist that was talking about this in his own practice, her own practice, their own practice. Jonathan Alpert, I guess it's him. We can hope. But the left is far more distressed. The left is constantly upset. There's there's frustration, there's depression, there's all this stuff. And the way that people on the right or conservative type people tend to deal with problems is very, very different. We just handle them in very different ways. It also goes into how a lot of people that are on this more progressive left especially find that outbursts or violent thoughts or even violent action is justified, and not only justified, but appropriate and beneficial. It's just the way their minds are wired. So trying to understand or rationalize a lot of these people that are very programmed, and that's the best I can say. Famous line that Jesus said when he was on the cross, supposedly, right? When he says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Takes a pretty strong man to do that in that situation. Now, since Judge goes off on this teen gun wielding, it's a really horrible crime. Dude just was even holding the gun to the store guy's face, extra, just trying to terrify him. This happened in Texas. So they threw the book at this dude. Hardcore. 25 years he's going to get in jail. And the point is, it's not the guns that are the problem. The left always loves to do that. Let's get rid of the guns. Here's the problem with that idea. Because first off, most ideas that come from Democrats or the left or deep state or however you want to phrase it are ludicrous. They don't make sense. They don't. When you step any sort of facts in front of their point, you find it instantly falls apart. Example, you make guns illegal. So who are the people that will get rid of the guns? Law-abiding people, right? People that follow the law. They would get rid of their guns because they follow the law. Just like people currently right now legally allowed to have guns legally. People like that aren't the problem. It's the people that want to hurt. Now, sure, yes, they can get a gun, but one of the things that makes it dangerous for them is they're likely to get shot themselves. There is an equalized playing field. If you take away all the guns and you're a criminal who doesn't care about laws, well, you'll get a gun illegally, shoot someone, and you know they can't defend themselves. It's a unlevel playing field. So again, the way that the left thinks about problems are ridiculous. So it's not the problem with the gun, it's the fact that these people don't get busted. Well, this guy now has 15, 20 to 25 years for doing this kind of crime. He didn't kill anyone either, thank God. But he's getting an insane amount of time, which is going to cause other irrational people that you can't really get away with this. And that's kind of the message we should be sending. Large, huge wildfire in Nebraska. I've talked about this a little while ago. This damn thing's still going. 640,000 acres. That's great size. That's huge. Apparently one dead so far. I don't know how much buildings and stuff they've lost, but this is a giant ass fire that you guys got going on. I'm curious if anyone lives even remotely close enough, if you guys will agree with the crazy weather you experience when you're sort of near a fire. Winds, I find, tend to pick up, and they tend to generally blow in the direction of the fire. Large fires are very, very trippy in the way they affect atmosphere around an area, and it's a pretty good-sized area, so it's always a trip when you are near one. And unfortunately, a little bit of experience with this, too. I know I brag too much about, that's not a big earthquake, at least here in California. When you're in Texas and you have a 3.0, yeah, it freaks people out. You guys aren't used to that stuff at all. This was cool. Why did I want to show this? This is showing the White House. And over the time, the evolution of it, and so everyone bitching about Trump's doing that's crazy stuff. All right, well, here's the history of the White House. Pretty cool. It's going to be pretty damn cool when this finally gets done. So, the White House has constantly gotten changed. I didn't realize it was 54 when they built up the top of it the way they had currently. So I thought that was kind of interesting, nonetheless. J.D. Vance, kind of a mic drop moment, really, talking about where we are in the big picture. And he was out in front of a Michigan crowd, which is a pretty awesome place for him to be making some noise. Michigan's going to have a hard time.
But my simple request is that until we get to that moment, until the Democrats can cheer for the idea that the government fights for you, until the Democrats can cheer for the fact that the government should be lowering your taxes, until the Democrats stand and cheer for the fact that the border ought to be closed and we ought to get the cartels out of our country, do not send those crazy people or any more of them to Washington, D.C. Support the people who fight for you, and that is Donald J. Trump and the entire leadership of this party.
Very true. And I don't know why it's so weirdly choppy with the little bits breaking up like that. I don't think that makes it AI. I think it's just a crap recording, but maybe. I think there's actually people there that can vouch. This is probably going to be a surprise to some people, and it shouldn't be. And I want to phrase it slightly differently. Okay, so if you're somebody... Now, let's phrase it after. I'll make it fun. I'll let you come to your own conclusions first, and then... I'll be a dick.
37, 36, and 7, 36, half, and 7, 7, mid, half, 7, half, 7, half, quarter, not half, 7, half, and 7, 7, about the beat, 30, and a quarter, and a quarter, and a quarter, and a quarter, and a half, and the beat, half, 8, half, and 7, about 8, 7, about 8, 7, about the beat, 7, about 9, and 39, 39, and quarter, 9, and quarter, 9, and quarter, about half, and 9, and 9, half, and 7, about 39, 7, about the 40, 40, 40, and a quarter, 40, and a quarter, about half, 40, and 7, about 7, about 41, 41.
All right, that was woefully unhelpful, playing the video, completely unhelpful. So Big Food is quietly buying up all the healthy brands. And that's the big thing here. That's the takeaway. It was like, oh my God, can you believe that Big Food's buying them up? Okay, let me phrase it a different way. If you're somebody that owns a product and you make it intentionally healthy and you like it and that's important to you, and then the big food company walks up to you and says, I'm going to offer you 10 times what your company's worth right now. And if you'll sell it to me, that'll be great. And you thinking to yourself, wow, this will be great. It'll get to even more people. Sure, I'll sell my company. That's awesome. And really what you did is just gave up your dream. You just took it away from society because, of course, the big food's going to destroy it or stop it. One of my favorite products, not many products, but it's a gourmet sauce. It's teriyaki sauce, basically. It's called Yoshida's. It's amazing. It got bought up by one of the big companies recently, not long ago, and it is very hard to find because they don't stock it on the shelves anymore at all. It's gone. Like I literally have to order it online, and I do. I love that stuff. Delicious. One of the best. It is arguably the best teriyaki sauce, though I actually make a decent one homemade. So all that said, it is what it is. So yes, they are buying it out, but at the same time, people are selling it. That's the important part. Markwayne Mullin refuses to play games with Senator Alyssa Slotkin. This is probably the one thing I'll play of his, but actually I've got two things of him. This guy's pretty good. I like the fact that he's an MMA fighter, and I like the fact that he's smart.
Who won the 2020 election?
Ma'am, we know that President Joe Biden was sworn into office. He was the president for the last 4 years.
But I do believe
my job as Department of Homeland Security Secretary will be to make sure that we assure that the elections are fair and people can trust them.
Does the federal government run the elections process or do states?
It's very clear in the Constitution that the states control state elections, and then there is some federal oversight that's on it, but the federal government can set some standards. So if you're talking about the Save American Act, requiring you, which is within the Constitution, by the way, requiring individuals to be citizens of the United States.
Yeah. So again, it'd be fun if they played a little bit more of that. Nonetheless, it's true. It's good. This guy's fighting for us, and Slotkin's not very smart. John Fetterman, he's the one that actually saved Markwayne Mullin's nomination. So again, actions are what matter to me. Care less what letter is next to someone's name. Rand Paul's got an R next to his name, and he's constantly a disappointment. He voted no, but Fetterman voted yes and undid Rand Paul's vote. So there you go. Give this man some credit, please. Give him a small set of applause because Fetterman's far more of an American than this douchehole. Far more of an American than a number of the people in the Senate, frankly. So... and it looks like we lost one, too, but they are going to acknowledge who that was. Senator Kennedy reveals that he filed to block senators' pay during government shutdowns. I love this. He's funny as hell. I love this dude.
Ask you about your legislation to withhold senators' pay during a shutdown. I know I've asked you a few times. Do you think there's any way we can move this bill forward? Unanimous consent even, and just see who objects to it.
Well, my bill came out of the Rules Committee unanimously. The only thing stopping it from passing, I'm not saying everybody will vote for it, but I think most senators will, is Senator Thune's got to bring it to the floor. And because it's in the form of a resolution, you can't really, it's difficult to put it on another bill. And so I've chased John like he stole Thanksgiving to try to get him to do it. But so far he hadn't agreed, but I'll keep pounding him.
So DHS employees could maybe reach out to Thune's office and try to help get push forward a mechanism to bring it to the floor?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Kennedy. I appreciate you stopping.
So yeah, any of you guys want to make noise to Thune or senators anywhere, like let them know, like this is ridiculous. You all shouldn't get paid. You shouldn't get paychecks if you're going to not be able to get stuff across the finish line. Congress shouldn't get paid at all. If Congress can't keep the government open, that's Congress's job. And then the president does the final signature. So if Congress can't do its job, Congress don't get no pay. That's a beautiful idea. I love it. Billionaire financier secretly sells his $47 million Beverly Hills mansion amid investigation into the Epstein ties. And you know, I don't know the area at all, and I hate L.A. I refuse to go into L.A. This house, by the way, used to be Tom Cruise's house back in 2016. Interesting. It is located at 1111 Calle Vista Drive. Cool number, but it's a 4, which is instead of a 3. That would be very cooler if it was like 111, essentially. But it's not. It's 4. 4 is a bad word in Chinese. Basically, it's the word death. The word death and 4 sound very much the same in Chinese. That's why they consider 4 an unlucky number. So I said, I wonder how close that is to the Playboy Mansion. And me being retarded, I actually did use Grok for this, and this is the type of stuff I think Grok is really good for. I'm going to give you an example where I think it's not. But 1111 Calle Vista Drive is located in Beverly Hills. It's, 90210. You guys remember that, right? It is a luxurious estate previously owned by Tom Cruise with about 10,286 square feet. Kind of small. 7 bedrooms and 9+ bathrooms, because of course you'd have more bathrooms than bedrooms. So I guess every bedroom has a bathroom, and then you got a couple extras for just, people downstairs, right? For the party. But the Playboy Mansion, now known as the former Playboy Mansion, is at 10236 Charing Cross Road in the Holmby Hills neighborhood of Los Angeles, near Beverly Hills. Its zip code's 90024. This is part of the upscale Platinum Triangle. Keep that in mind. Platinum Triangle. It's an area that includes parts of Beverly Hills, Holmby Hills, and Bel Air. Fresh Prince, ringing a bell to anybody? These two locations are quite close, both in the same affluent West Side Los Angeles region. They are approximately 2 to 3 miles apart, straight line distance, around 2.6 kilometers or 1.6 miles. Straight line. You know the direction a tunnel would go. Just saying. Epstein files coming out. This dude's getting out of his home. Do you think they try to hide that door? Because there is hidden stuff in these houses. I wonder how good they are at finding it. Donald Trump truth this out. Free Tina Peters, 73-year-old woman with cancer, given a 9-year death sentence in a Colorado prison by a Democratic governor, Jared Polis, and a corrupt political machine for exposing fraud by the Democrats during the 2020 presidential election. Again, free Tina. Here is, this can't be true, but CNN put it out, so it must be.
Sometimes you look at the polling data and there are numbers that just jump off the screen at you, and this is one of those. Because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is.
Now, let's call a spade, please, because again, I love the numbers and I pay attention to some stuff. It's an NBC News poll. How many of you guys noticed that? NBC News poll. 66%, 31% split amongst non-MAGA. Then this also has to tell you something else. If you're watching NBC and you're MAGA, I would bet 100% of you are going to vote just to mess with their numbers. So might have been 5 people, because maybe there was only, 20 people total or whatever. You have to break down the 66-31, but right. But again, there didn't need to be that many people. And so 100% is kind of, don't think that represents the entire quote-unquote MAGA community, because I do believe there's a lot of people that would call themselves MAGA, though I would argue they're not, but would call themselves MAGA, but would in fact not necessarily approve. I like people like Tucker Carlson, just to give an example of somebody that's really, really punching up for me. And anyway, rich guy. He was been a rich guy. It's just, I think that's kind of why they kicked him out of Fox for other reasons. And then he kind of just went into this on his own and whatever. I feel like there's some people that are doing, I would say doing damage, but then at the same side, I think it's actually teaching people. So I don't know. I've kind of changed my my upset with some of these people and realized, they're helping. This is catalyst. This is the opposite. It needs to be there. All said. It's funny is the Dems are basically saying, look, we'll open up the government as long as the Republicans do what we say. I mean, the balls of that, right? You're not the majority, but we have to do what you say. You're telling the majority what they must do in order to allow you to open the government. Oh, okay. How about we let you guys just lie in that mess and fall on your own sword? How about that? Because you guys are the ones that are very, very specifically saying it's your way or no way. And right now, a whole lot of people are not getting paid. A whole lot of people are in harm's way right now because of the choices you guys have made. ICE was paid for regardless. So if that's even sort of on the tip of your brain, that would be like you're really in Congress and you didn't know that you already funded ICE? Like, are you that stupid? Like, I'm just curious. Just wondering. Thune, Scott, yeah, I almost side-saddled. Thune and Scott are both backing Rep. Kevin Hern to replace Mark Wayne Mullen. I don't know if that makes him good or bad, frankly. These are two people I don't trust, per se. John Thune, again, I don't know. I'm giving him leniency. Tim Scott, maybe. I don't know. He pisses me off often enough, too, but he's better than some of them. He's almost quiet most of the time. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Senate Homeland panel advances Mullen's DHS nomination. So with an 8-7 vote against Fetterman is the reason that happened. Rand Paul, being the dickhead that he is. Thank God, Fetterman. Thank you, sir. If for some crazy reason you watch my show, thank you, sir. I will continue to say nice things about you so long as you stay America first. Even you don't have to vote with everything Trump says. That's not important to me. It's important to me that you at least explain why. And second, as long as you care about this country and you can illustrate that in why you voted the way you did, I will be your supporter. I won't necessarily vote for you because I can't, but meh. Here is Mark Wayne Mullen, and this is a beautiful story. And Donald Trump shared this, and if anything, I'm going to say with loyalties, and it's one of the most important things to Trump is loyalty. He wants people in positions that will remain loyal to him no matter what. It's like, I got your all's back. I need you to have my back, and I can't be worried about whether or not you do. If I am worried about whether or not you have my back, you are gone. I think it's part of maybe Kristi Noem's thing, but there's another part of me that thinks she served her purpose. She was a very pretty face. And she was through a hard part of the situation, and I think they intentionally did it. I think when that started to wear off, or she started to kind of crack in other places, it had to be done. And they made a deal with the Dems, which they failed to follow through on. So again, 4D chess. Nothing is as it seems. Nothing is the one thing you're looking at. This one thing does not mean anything. This one thing you might be looking at any one time. This one thing is part of a bigger picture, and you've got to keep that in mind. One thing does not mean anything. One thing adds to what's already going on. It's that binary thinking that many people get in trouble with. You can't. You're never going to understand this 5D chess if you're binary thinking. You're down on like 2D level, 1D level, right? And we're like 5D up here. We're like multiple angles thrown in, and you're like, I can't do it. It hurts my brain. All right, that's cool. You don't have to.
So my son was a really world-class athlete, and January 17th of 2020, which mind you was an election year, he had a really serious brain injury. Woke up 26 hours later, and he's a different kid. We almost lost him. And the president found out about it, and he gave me a call immediately, and the president offered to send his plane, his personal plane. This is the president of the United States. We get there, and he called almost every day for 2 weeks checking on Jim. And then he says, I'm going to come see him. And now this is the middle of the election. This is Bakersfield, California. Really not an area he's got to go campaign. And his team came to him twice and said, sir, we got to go, we got to go. On the third time they came over to him, he looked at him and he says, hey, I guarantee you that plane won't leave without me. And for the next 15 minutes, he did nothing but love on my son. That, that one incident jogged his memory. And from then on, he started retaining things. And Jim's attitude went from this, we're going to get through it, to this, I'm going to get through it. And every week, if not most days, the president would call and ask how he could help. Ask, how's his buddy doing? How's Jim doing? He didn't do it for publicity. He didn't do it for any show. He was running in one of the toughest elections he had been in, and the guy was still that concerned about my son. Dang it, I hate getting emotional. See, if I talk about my kids, I get emotional. Other than that, you can't make me cry. But my kids do make me emotional.
That's actually a good thing.
Yeah. So anyways, he grabbed my son and he said, do you know why I love your dad? Do you know why I love your dad? Chrissy tells the story better than I do. And he goes, no, sir. He goes, because he loves you. Because of you. Because of you. Man, he didn't do it for any other reason. I mean, here's the President of the United States, and he did it just because he cared. And so when you want to say why he's a friend, yeah, we were acquaintances before that. We've been friends ever since.
The American people need to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So any of you guys that follow my Law of One stuff, or that will get into it at some point, that's green ray energy. Okay? That's huge. That says a lot about this individual. It says a lot about him, that he's capable to feel. It's beautiful, because he's a fighter. Dude's an MMA fighter. Like he says, I hate being emotional, but when it comes to my kid, and damn straight. It's kind of beautiful, and this is the dude that we're going to put in play. And I think that's good. And I think he's replacing Kristi Noem. And I think at this time, that's appropriate. Right? It's not that Kristi failed. She got basically promoted to something else. Or moved to something significant still. She didn't get fired by any stretch of the imagination. Again, that's what people are trying to focus it on. It didn't happen that way. It needs to change. Trump's going to do that. Maybe even at some point with someone like a Pam Bondi. We'll see. We'll see. I think she's doing a pretty good job playing it hard. We'll see again. But I got to talk about MyPillow. First off, I had a great interview with Mike Lindell. If you guys didn't see yesterday's show, today is 19th, Thursday. If you didn't see yesterday's show, and really cool interview with Mike Lindell again. He's a good guy running for governor. MikeLindellGov.com if you want to help. Certainly if you're a Minnesotan, you should try to help him. I think that would be cool. All that said, MyPillow.com/OTF. MyPillow.com/OTF. Found out our code's one of 4 channels right now. One of 4 channels that has this deal, this good of a deal. You guys are getting offered a sweetheart deal. This TV mattress special is super awesome. So you want to look at this one. You want to check it out. I guess we could click on it just because I'm curious what it actually shows. Yeah, so they got it's in the 3-inch topper. So if you get this bad boy, you get the sweet deal where you're going to get a free 2 pillows. And you're going to get free 2 pillows. And you're also going to get 2 pillowcases. I assume you get to choose the colors, at least, of the pillowcases. Pillows look like they're just the regular queens, but they're actually really nice. You don't really need the king size. The king size are nice. I've tried both. They're bigger, that's for sure, and it's cool. But really, how much pillow do you need? So, whatever the case is. They've also got the 6-piece towel set, $34.98. These towels are awesome. And the Giza starting at $29.98. They're never going to be that low. That's $10 lower than the typical sale price. That's like a super sale price. The Giza sheets are the high thread count. You want to have this, they start at, by the way, $29. I think that's for twins, so they go a little up as your bed gets bigger. But these are the high thread count sheets. These are really nice sheets, super deep pockets. You're going to be super stoked on them. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. There's a phone number they say you can call. Mike always gives a different one, so I don't know who I should trust, frankly. But they say if you want to order, 1-800-544-8939. 1-800-544-8939. Right? They got the energy stuff. The slippers are a good price right now. Like normal sale price, whatever. Free shipping, that's huge. So again, taking advantage of the stuff. These are incredible slippers. They're, first off, the fuzz in there is awesome, right? It's really thick, right? You can see it. That's awesome. Also, the side stitching. These are really, really well made. Like it's a rubber sole. Like these are really, really nice. Really nice. And it's like a suede. They're really nice. Way worth that money. That's actually, I mean, it's worth double that. They say normally $149. I wouldn't pay $150, but $120. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. If I saw it at Nordstrom's just sitting there, $120, I'd totally be like, yeah, dude, I can get it. Look at those things. Those are cool. Little moccasins. Badass. Again, great products. They've got the blankets. They've also got comforters. The comforters, down comforter especially. I love it. I use it year round, guys. I live in California. I mean, I put the AC on. Let's not be crazy. But they've got those too. I've got a lot of great stuff. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Put us on the map, guys. Help us out on this one. This is it's kind of cool. Mike Lindell, we got some stuff going on too. He's going to be doing some live events. I'll probably stream some of it. Planning on getting up into Minnesota and doing at least one live stream at his event, and then I'll probably have a day before or a day after where I will see if anyone wants to be in the area. So we'll talk about it beforehand and give people a heads up. And if you want to hang out, we'll do a little hangout. We're probably not going to do anything live at the hangout. We'll probably just hang out, but we'll be doing something. I've talked to a couple people that are in Minnesota. Anyone else out there wants to reach out that's from Minnesota, reach out. That'll be cool too. All said, mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. We got a lot going on this year, and we need to be operating on all cylinders. Turn that off instead. I'm turning my face off, even though some might say that's a better choice. As reliability concerns grow, Democrats signal retreats from the previous push for 100% renewable energy. What this means is the polling data is so horrible on energy prices that so long as the Dems continue to push this concept that's obviously caused energy to become extraordinarily expensive, if they keep pushing that, they have zero chance. So now all of a sudden they're retreating from that. They're like, well, we're going to get some stuff. We're going to put a coal-fired plant over. Like, they're desperate. And again, they'll turn and face whatever direction they need to for whatever given time. Obviously, what they've stood for the past however long, 20, 30, 40 years, is bullshit. FBI apparently has been investigating Joe Kent before he quit, but let's not assume that they aren't tied together in any way, shape, or form. But apparently he was possibly it's alleged that he was leaking classified information. So they've been looking into that. And then suddenly he quits. No, I can't support the war, even though we've got just countless places of him supporting the taking Iran's abilities away from them. All sorts of fun. Again, someone said, someone got to him. Yeah, maybe Trump. Maybe Trump. I mean, this was his best chance to get out and look cool and do all your interviews. That's fine. I don't care. But we're going to slime you, and that's what's going to happen. And you can either stay and we'll fire you, or... Here's Secretary Hegseth talking about the Middle East, because, of course, you know, what we're doing there is this forever war, right? That's what everyone's calling it. Again, they're taking one thing, and then they're imposing all this stuff on it that's not likely true based off of everything we've experienced thus far with Trump. He's ended 8 wars. Do you think he's getting us into a never-ending one? Well, yeah, but he doesn't know what he's doing. You really think that? He didn't know the Straits of Hormuz were going to get closed. You really think that? Please. I mean, Hegseth was just the one time someone asked him that. He's like, are you serious? Like, of course, we knew that the first thing they'd do is start shooting ships in the Horn Strait. And then one must ask, well, why? Why are you okay with that? Well, one, we don't think it'll last that long. So the world-facing part of it, right? We don't think it's going to last that long. This would be a little bit of a problem, but people can do the strategic reserves that'll help keep the price down. We'll get through this. It'll be quick. Trust me, it'll be fine. Especially if our allies help, which they don't. But the reality is Trump to the deep state. Yeah, straight's fucked. I don't know what you guys are going to do about it. We're not going to sail ships through it. Wait, but what do you mean? That's what you guys would do normally. Well, first off, that's what they want us to do because they've got weapons that could possibly strike. We should be okay, but they could overwhelm, and things may not work quite as good as we want them to, and it's just not worth the risk. It's a high risk. No, we don't need to. Well, you should do it. I know, because you guys want to shoot shipping missiles at us, Chinese-made, and see if they work. And maybe they do. I don't know. China's managed to put some decent numbers on the table, but it seems a lot of their equipment doesn't seem to work as well as China claims it works. We've seen Venezuela had Russia and China's best equipment, but we discombobulated it. So again, I don't, the naysayers, especially when they're focusing on one component of the bigger picture, I have a hard time with it, guys. Apologize. If you guys think I should be more the other way, put it in the comments. Certainly thumbs up if you guys like me. If you hate me, go ahead and thumbs down. I don't care. It's all cool. But yeah, hit that. Make sure you subscribed and all that bell notification kind of bullshit. Make sure you get notified when I put videos out 6 days a week. Here's Pete Hegseth talking about this.
The Middle East, our ungrateful allies in Europe, even segments of our own press should be saying one thing to President Trump. Thank you. Thank you for the courage to stop this terror state from holding the world hostage with missiles while building or attempting to build a nuclear bomb. Thank you for doing the work of the free world. Yesterday's ceremony reminded us why we fight.
Yeah. We are doing something with huge force. We're not running out of the ammo. We know what we need. We're using bullets in a lot of cases, or exploding shells in a lot of cases to defend some of these embassies. Again, if it's one building, it's easy because you just put the thing on the top of the building and, yeah, you're going to hit this building. Fuck no, you got to get through me. If you're talking about an entire complex, the range of those bullets isn't that far. We're talking 3 to 5 kilometers at best. I mean, that's really far, actually, but 3 for sure. Depending how fast it's coming in. I mean, if it's a little drone, we got all sorts of time. We'll smoke it easy. If it's a hypersonic missile, it might work. I got a lot of Tulsi Gabbard stuff, so I want to play all of it because she was fantastic, the stuff I saw. Ratcliffe was incredible. I got a couple snippets of him. This will take a little bit. I apologize, but it's, I think, worth it. This what, they were in front of Congress, whatever the hell you call that. This what do they call it? Shared Intelligence Community Assessments, IC as they frequently refer to it, in this Senate hearing, I guess they call this. I don't know, whatever.
The strict enforcement of U.S. policies at the U.S.-Mexico border and regionally have served as a deterrent, drastically reducing illegal immigration. Based on Customs and Border Patrol data, January 2026's monthly encounters are down 83.8% compared to January 2025. Encounters declined 79% compared to 2024.
Yeah, so obviously we're moving forward with getting some of the numbers down that need to before the election. Trump's accomplished so many things already, and the few things people are freaking out about, it's only because they've got to freak out about something because they hate Trump. This is beautiful. D&I Gabbard talking about how she went hard. I guess she goes hard against the spread of Islamist Sharia law and stuff. So again, Sharia laws definitely doesn't fit this country, 100%. Any of that Islamist stuff does not work in the United States. Period. I'm not.
And organizations associated with the Muslim Brotherhood poses a fundamental threat to freedom and the foundational principles that underpin Western civilization. Islamist groups and individuals use this ideology for recruiting and financial support for terrorist groups and individuals around the world, and to advance their political objectives of establishing an Islamist caliphate which governs based on Sharia. There are increasing examples of this in various European countries, and President Trump's designation of certain Muslim Brotherhood chapters as foreign terrorist organizations is a mechanism to secure Americans against this threat. In response to setbacks to their capabilities of conducting large-scale complex attacks, Islamist terrorist groups have shifted toward focusing on executing information operations to spread propaganda and inspire or enable individuals located in or with access to the West. U.S. counterterrorism efforts, primarily in Iraq, Somalia, Yemen, and Syria in 2025, were instrumental in removing key terrorist leaders and operatives, degrading the ability of al-Qaeda and ISIS to quickly reconstitute its leadership.
Yeah. She's a rock star. And again, she's Hindu, guys, but she's saying it about Islam. Now, there's been a discussion. There was a gentleman, lovely gentleman, by the way. I got nothing but love for this person, and I think he's said much the same. We don't see eye to eye, per se, on this Islamist-Muslim difference. I've talked to a few people. I've done a little bit of research, not a lot. So, again, I'm not claiming to be an expert. My understanding is Islamists, or is basically a radicalized version of Muslim. They use the same book, but they use it very, very differently. Some say that there's this, no, Islam's the religion and Muslim's the people, or something like that. And I've seen that argument. I don't actually think that's fully true. I think that's half true. I do think there's something to it, much like Jewish is a culture also, but it's also a religion. But I do think there's a difference between Muslim and Islam. And I've known a few Muslims, not a bunch, but a few, and throughout my life too, especially during my spiritual path. And they preach peace. I mean, that's what they preach. Again, mostly the Bible preaches peace too, especially New Testament, but some really gnarly shit in the Old Testament and in the Christian, or the Jewish Bible anyways, which is who the chosen people are, who's possibly going to start the Third World War if they can. Why? Because they're prophecies. They need them to come true. Those won't necessarily benefit the rest of the world so much. And remember, Christians, the Jews don't accept Christ. So I'm not saying hate the Jews, because again, that's not my thing. There's beautiful people that believe in this religion, and it does mostly good. There is a deep state group of people that have infiltrated every single part of this world. Whether it's flat or round, it doesn't matter. But every part of it has been infiltrated. Israel, Iran, Russia, Europe, England, Canada, Brazil, like, right? Every country, Australia, like, g'day, everywhere. Papua New Guinea. I was told that's how you're supposed to say it. Whatever. So we got to understand, this is kind of a bigger deal. Bigger system, bigger problem. Here's Tulsi Gabbard talking about Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, Pakistan developing nuclear-tipped weapons. Do they have the ability? This is one of the things they kept trying to get her to say. Like, they don't have the ability, because that's what Dickhead said that quit. Kent, or whatever his name is, right? There's no threat, really. Where did all you experts get your information from? Because most of these pundits on TV nowadays saying this shit don't have access to information anymore. They got cut off. Remember that? They did that a year ago. They cut all the leakers off.
However, the intelligence community assesses that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan have been researching and developing an array of novel, advanced, or traditional missile delivery systems with nuclear and conventional payloads that put our homeland within range. The IC assesses that threats to the homeland will expand collectively to more than 16,000 missiles by 2035, from the current assessed figure of more than 3,000 missiles. The IC assesses that China and Russia are developing advanced delivery systems meant to be capable of penetrating or bypassing U.S. missile defenses. North Korea's ICBMs can already reach U.S. soil, and the IC assesses that it is committed to expanding its nuclear arsenal. Pakistan's long-range ballistic missile development potentially could include ICBMs with a range capable of striking the homeland. The IC assesses that Iran has previously demonstrated space launch and other technology it could use to begin to develop a militarily viable ICBM before 2035, should Tehran attempt to pursue that capability. However, these assessments will clearly be updated as the full impact of Operation Epic Fury's devastating strikes on Iran's missile production facilities, stockpiles, and launch capabilities is determined.
So it sounds like there was more going on. And the one thing they haven't called out, and they can't, so keep all this in mind too, is that China had been supplying potentially warheads, but certainly nuclear materials, and possibly missiles. Was there an imminent threat? Yes. Have they told us about it? No. Are they going to? Fuck no. We don't want China to know what we know. China's been very cut off from us. So yes, here is as far as artificial intelligence, this is very, very true, and this is certainly a big problem. This is why Trump is desperately trying to get power ramped up. I do think we do have smaller module generators that they don't want to admit to yet either. So I think some things are going to play out, and then we're going to get a disclosure of technologies and stuff over this next period of our golden years. Prepare yourself, folks. The world is changing, I assure you. It's just we got to walk through this part of it. That's the tricky part.
The IC assesses that China is the most capable competitor in the field of artificial intelligence. The IC assesses that AI capabilities are rapidly advancing and changing the threat landscape, as this is a defining technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning comprehension, problem solving, creativity, and autonomy. It will be critical to ensure that humans remain in control of how AI is used and of the machines that may threaten to autonomously violate the interests of the American people across all domains. AI adoption at scale across the spectrum of usage poses serious risks. AI has the potential to aid in weapons and systems design and has been used in recent conflicts to influence targeting and streamline decision-making, underscoring the risk and likely threats that could manifest on the battlefield. Early developers in quantum computers will give countries an extraordinary technological advantage over others to quickly process national security information and break current encryption methodology used to protect sensitive finance, healthcare, and government information.
Crypto wallets, by the way, first, just boom. Bank accounts probably too. Almost assuredly. At least they can somewhat, hopefully, kind of block out. But yeah, anybody that's got a wallet, if you got it connected, the second you connect it, the AI is going to be, it'll be able to crack any sort of crazy, I don't care how many characters you got on it. I don't care how many bits of encryption. It'll be able to crack it, especially if they get enough time. So if you've got enough money, trust me, you're on a radar. And you don't necessarily want to be the guy holding the most amount of Bitcoin. That's for damn sure.
The IC assesses that Operation Epic Fury is advancing fundamental change in the region that began with Hamas's attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023, and continued with the 12-day war last year, resulting in weakening Iran and its proxies. The IC assesses the regime in Iran appears to be intact but largely degraded due to attacks on its leadership and military capabilities. Its conventional military power projection capabilities have largely been destroyed, leaving limited options. Iran's strategic position has been significantly degraded. The U.S.-led maximum pressure campaign and snapback of European sanctions added additional pressure to an already bleak Iranian economy, resulting in mass protests earlier this year that Tehran suppressed by killing thousands of protesters. Even if the regime remains intact, the IC assesses that internal tensions are likely to increase as Iran's economy worsens. Even so, Iran and its proxies continue to attack U.S. and allied interests in the Middle East. The IC assesses that if a hostile regime survives, it will likely seek to begin a years-long effort to rebuild its military, missiles, and UAV forces. Prior to Operation Epic Fury, the IC assesses Iran was trying to recover from the severe damage to its nuclear infrastructure sustained during the 12-day war and continued to refuse to comply with its nuclear obligations with the IAEA, refusing them access to key facilities.
Right. And again, a lot of people, will say like, oh, Trump doesn't know everything that's going on. Well, he's not necessarily supposed to. Not that it's plausible deniability, but yeah, some. But two, the dude's busy doing a lot of things. He doesn't have time to sit there for like 12 hours and try to absorb every facet of the battle that's about to happen, right? Of course not. He's got generals that he trusts, and I trust him too. Cooper and Raising Cane. These guys they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Yeah, there's going to be some casualties of war. Yeah, there's going to be some accidents. Yeah, there's going to be some whoopses. Some shits. Yeah, there's going to be a few of those in there. Yeah. Especially if you got to eat rations. I hear you definitely could potentially get the shits from those, depending. This is a last little bit from her too. I didn't play this, but I just like the way it starts. He said a lot of things in that letter. I think I remembered this section. All said, whatever. I want to play this. It should be good. I don't think she talked about this yet.
Assessments.
Thank you. I also wanted to ask this because this week there was a high-profile resignation of Director of National Counterterrorism Center. Now, I want to be clear from the outset. I've communicated directly with President Trump my support for Operation Epic Fury, and I was very not only disappointed, but how inappropriate this letter was. And I want to read a statement that and get your personal assessment whether you agree or disagree with that. And that's this. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed no imminent threat to the United States and that you should strike now. There was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into a disastrous Iraq war. Now, I cannot say how much I disagree with that statement. Do you agree or disagree with what this letter was put out by former Director Kent?
He said a lot of things in that letter. Ultimately, we have provided the president with the intelligence assessments, and the president is elected by the American people and makes his own decisions based on the information that's available to him.
But do you agree with, does that statement he made, blaming Israel, concern you?
Yes.
My next question is...
Yeah, I mean, it concerns her because he said it, because he's maybe releasing information he shouldn't, because it's not necessarily true. I mean, what's she really telling us? A lot of people be like, well, no, here, we've got a facial reading expert that's going to tell you this person right here. And yeah. I don't trust anyone anymore, folks. I don't know what it is. I'm jaded as fuck, and I apologize. I was talking to one of the guys in the I had a friend that used to say when I'd go off on a little tangent that it was a side salad, and she was funny. Agnes, she was a lovely lady. Vivarelli, if any of you guys are into manifesting. Agnes, call out. For some reason, someone shares this with you. This is why I haven't been doing manifesting videos. But all said, I cut a bunch of crap. Anyway, was Iran developing nuclear weapons prior to our military action last June? And did Iran remain committed to developing a nuclear weapon to lead up to this conflict? CIA director's like, yeah, I like Radcliffe. I like Radcliffe so much. Anyway, check this out.
Is the Iranian regime committed to America's destruction, in your opinion?
Yes.
Does the Iranian regime have American blood on their hands since its founding in 1979?
Yes.
Has Iran plotted assassination attempts against Americans on American soil?
Yes.
Was Iran developing a nuclear weapon prior to our military action last June? And did Iran remain committed to developing a nuclear weapon in the lead up to this conflict?
Yes. So I want to clarify on that because there's been much talk about a fatwa against the development of a nuclear weapon.
Can you come back to that 1 second? Let me finish
yeah,
these.
You
That's
bet.
okay. If left unchecked, do you think Iran would have the ability to develop missiles capable of reaching the United States?
Yes.
Did Israel force the U.S.'s hand and make us take action, as some have claimed?
No.
Director Gabbard, do you agree with the CIA director's assessment on that last question in
Yes.
particular?
Folks, we have to very much understand that the deep state was in control of these agencies. And even as of 6 months ago, still we had not fettered out nearly as much as we have at this point, and I'm sure we've still got a ways to go. The things that we've likely learned, we just found out that story recently, how much information was kept about the election in 2020 from President Trump because they didn't like his politics. So information that was worthy of national security risks, like an act of war against us, and they're like, yeah, but he's going to use it to try to, turn the election. That's insane. The fact that we would have anyone political at all, I mean, I don't care what letter you have next to your name. If you're overtly political, either way, you shouldn't be anywhere near a government job, in my opinion. Like, if you're just like, kill commies, like Lindsey Graham, like, I think he's way too far, right? And then you got a lot of people that are, they love the other people. But, man, Fetterman down to, I don't know how far right we go. You guys would have to help me figure that one out. People, they're going to ask Grok, or they're going to ask ChatGPT. I'll talk about that. Pisses me off. Everybody's using this shit and then thinking the answers are like gold. Like, please just say, like, I got this from AI, just so other people know. Because otherwise, that doesn't make it true. Mystery drones are buzzing Rubio and Hegseth's homes, they say. Now, this is RT News, Russian, likely propaganda, and not in all cases, though. But unidentified drones, they say, have been flying above this military base where Marco Rubio and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth live. And they're framing that as they're at risk. This is the new story they're pushing right now. I guarantee you. You don't have to shoot bullets. We got electromagnetic weapons that are very precise. And more importantly, we don't even have to take them down because we've also got technology that is capable of figuring out where the home is. The GPS in these things, they hack them. They hack these things. They're crap. Oh, these commercial bots, Chinese bots are going to do da-da-da. First off, they're not shielded properly in any way, shape, or form. These cheap-ass commercial bots, they're going to take over the world, and they've got little bits of explosive in them. Dude, you guys are nuts. This has all been planned out. We're 5D chessing. You're focusing on one thing again. Pull back. Does that one thing exist as a possibility? Yes. Is there K-cart, whatever they call those ones, so the shipping containers that have missiles and shit in them and drones in them? They exist for sure. Do you think we're not capable of scanning for that? Especially after they've sort of demonstrated to we the American people. The discombobulator is the best piece of highly classified technology that we have. And Trump's just threatening, we've got even better shit. We're dusting off 1980s era stuff right now. Just dust goes flying. He's fucking with these people hard. And I think telling the deep state, we have control of it all. You don't. We do. Weather's been weird because I think they don't have much left to control, if any. I don't think they do. I actually think there's a little bit of a snapback that is happening, or we're using it to move the weather. And so, again, hard to say, right? If the good guys are using geoengineering, is it okay? So, again, who knows? I don't think for a second these drones are a threat. And that's what they were trying to say on the East Coast. They're not a threat. They were looking for shit. We would put up drones with sensors on them to find shit. Nuke sniffing, people, anything, any number of things. These dudes are so heavily protected. This is obviously part of the protection. So these stupid stories are put out, maybe by the CIA, to make people think. Because it's better to think that than this is us actually being smart. I don't know. New details today. New details are coming out right now about New Mexico, U.S. Air Force Base shooting. They're trying to make it sound like it was maybe a lover's quarrel, maybe a relationship, friendship, weird sort of thing. So I don't know. I feel like they're trying to downplay that this was even likely related necessarily to the military thing going on in Iran. Now, personally, I don't know, and I kind of don't care. I think the fact that it happened, whether or not it legitimately, like, somehow this thing happened at that point in time, like, whatever the case was, it was done somehow, right? So, please. I feel like this is just people arguing with what that means, right? Like, we didn't lose. You guys, someone managed to pull it off. Someone killed somebody at a base. That's fucked up, and they also injured somebody. But we took him down and stopped him before he did much else. So, I mean, it says a lot about us, too. Another lefty, this dude's Oregon high school principal. He was celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, too, by the way, just if that matters in any way, shape, or form. But the best part is, better than Folgers in the cup, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for possession of child abuse material. I don't know, like 3 to 5 different things. This disgusting bastard, star Josh Duggar, his brother, I guess, was arrested. So not Josh. Josh is, I would say, be very curious. I'm not sure. I'm not alleging even anything, but I'm just saying if your brother was this and you're famous and you probably, I don't know, but y'all, whatever. And as part of 19 kids and counting, that's like, there's about, 17 red flags there. Damn it. Who knows? Los Angeles School Union says it's ready to strike. There you go. They want more money because the education's so good. They've had to lower test expectations. It's like, do you know what 2 plus 2 is? Yeah, that's 5. All right, how about 1 plus 1? Yeah, it's 3. Okay, shit. All right, how about that's close enough. Lefty Hernandez touts overdose drops at MacArthur Park. Some crazy Los Angeles city council person. Yet the rampant drug use, dead animals, and everything else that's happening right now is, well, would say something's different than what she says. Oh, cool, they've got a little... Man, some of the homeless just live so good, right? Think about that. I'm sure some of you guys are jealous. They're like, really? They got one of them, those things, and a shopping cart? Shit. God dang, I'm jealous as heck. I'm going to get a shopping cart. 2 Republicans lead race for California's next governor as new poll puts pressure on Democrats. Yeah, they're failing. The Dems here, this state is, trust me, guys, but. Everybody's like, you get what you vote for. Now, we might have the numbers to overwhelm this time, I hope, because we got a primary coming up, and someone's been talking about that, and that's a good point. It's like, once the primary happens, you're stuck with the person, right? So if they can rig the primary. So for all my Californian friends, because I just got my thing in the mail recently, by the way, and it's an open primary for anyone out there. It's like, Dan, you're independent, you're a dick. It's open primary. Fuck you. Okay? As an independent, I can vote for where the fuck I want. That's what's awesome about being independent. Okay? If we have shit choices, maybe I just choose the one that sucks the most on their side, just to mess with their numbers. Just try to keep their person from winning. Who knows? I got options. You guys, You guys are stuck in your little system. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you guys. Apologize. It's not funny. Not funny at all. Dan, stop it. Yeah, bad boy. Anyway, yeah, Democrats are flailing a little bit. They're only down like single digits. Not that bad. 6 points, something like that, but whatever. California's unfinished wildlife bridge to nowhere. Seriously, I didn't even know this existed here. This is the single stupidest thing. It's worse than the train, guys. This is worse than the train. This is the single stupidest thing that our government has been able to come up with yet. The single stupidest waste of money. Now, I want to know exactly who the companies were involved with the building of this project. That's who I want to know. Who owns those companies? What families do they belong to? Follow that chain. That's immediately who did this. This is a stupid fudging thing. Oh, no, that didn't slow. That was me. What it is it's a freaking bridge overpass. Very expensive to build. And then they put a bunch of dirt on it. Not cheap. Then they'd put plants and a walkway. So you could, as a stupid-ass pedestrian, hold up traffic on this 2-lane road over here so you can walk over here and make your dog poo up here on top of the freeway. And then, after paying for all that and actually finally building it the way it should be, which will be over budget, then now you have to maintain it. So they literally built a structure where it didn't need to be. So what? I don't know. Spend, a quarter of that. Hell, not even that. Spend nothing of that and buy some of this land from this fucktard over here and be like, dude, we're going to give you 5 times, 10 times what your land's worth. Give us the little things so we can put a stupid dog poop in park. Done. Nope. Got to build the biggest bridge ever with a 2-lane road next to it. I mean, at least they've got, this is a California road, so yeah, this is how many lanes we typically. What was it? It's hard to even tell. Are they that? Oh, yeah, they're that narrow. So yeah, 2, 4, 4 plus. There's down with they call it the Y, where the 5 and the 405 meet. Shit, man, there's I think at one point there's 8, 9 lanes. Seriously, I'm not fucking with you guys. 9 lanes. On my side of the freeway only. There's almost that many on the other side. 9 is insane. It's stupid. You just get in there and you fall asleep and just drift. It doesn't, I'm kidding. There's fucking people everywhere, dude. Ever do that. You're that's ridiculous. Federal judge orders Voice of America to reinstate dismissed staff and resume broadcast. Just another judge. I wanted to get the judge's name. It's a new name. I don't remember Lamberth. I don't know. Maybe I do. Ronald Reagan appointee. So he's 4 seconds from being dead. Anyway, I mean from his age, by the way, folks. Sorry. Just to be very sure. You can cut that. That's fine. That'd be funny almost. But Royce C. Lamberth is this district judge's lame-ass name. So keep him in mind. He's like, yeah, you got to turn everything back on Radio Free Europe. There's no way that's legal, but whatever. 200,000 immigrant truck drivers begin losing their license under the Trump admin rule. But what a lot of people are asking, which is the right question, I'm impressed. I was like a happy moment of my life. Was like, wait, what? We had 200,000 immigrant truck drivers that can't fucking read? 200,000? Holy shit. So yeah, if you know how to drive, if you can truck drive, you guys remember Top Gun? Hey Maverick, what's the name of the phone number of that truck driving school? Truck Masters, I think it is. Might need that. Dude, learn how to truck drive. If you're somebody that wants to make money, we need truck drivers. I'm telling you, good jobs. Good jobs. Whether they're benefits or you're 1099, still good jobs. You can afford your own rig, you're going to be making bank. So, that all said, especially if you don't like your family. Be like, I'm leaving for a month. Just rear view mirror it. Rep Kevin Kiley, he's the one that was California, and he switched to independent, which again, I think people should get used to. What we're going to see here is an understanding of the process. Is kind of what I believe is happening. He sounds like he got kicked out automatically of all the committees he was in. That's just a rule. You change parties, pew. They're going to probably, he's saying, but we'll see. I think this is so he could survive an election. So I think Mike Johnson will be on this. They're going to bring him back into these committees as an independent and kind of acknowledge his dirty ways, if you will. But he is in California, so he's got to try, especially if he's anywhere near that stupid bridge. Another judge pile of trash, Boasberg, again's in the news, rewriting grand jury rules after Justice Department fails to indict the 6 Dems. I don't know how this is still alive, but somehow he's issued a temporary 120-day standing order on March 4th, requiring written notification to the duty magistrate judge whenever a grand jury declines to indict in a grand jury GJO, government justice department. I don't know what the GJO exactly stands for. But anyway, notifications will be kept confidential in the clerk's office while the court considers making the rule permanent. It's weird. This guy's literally trying to control the investigation by the executive branch. Just literally like saying every time you have a grand jury that fails to indict somebody that you've got to let us know. Like, what? This dude's so deep state, and this is the deep state spying on what they're trying to get insight. And so that's what Boasberg is. I don't know how far they let him go before we've literally impeached the guy. What does it take? I guess Hollywood mansion swarmed by FBI and high-stake identity theft bust here in North Hollywood, not necessarily related to pedophiles. This is a fraudster guy that literally took over someone's identity, literally stole it from them, and millions of dollars, had a multi-million-dollar home and stuff, like just crazy-ass stuff. And they came in and arrested him, did the thing out front. We're like, come out with your hands up. It's like, wow, old school. Let's see, and we now have three oil markers. So yeah, someone finally figured it out too. It's about damn time. Like understanding and appreciating the bigger picture, and one, that there really is a 3-pole world. So now there is an acknowledgement that there is an Asian oil market called Oman Oil, and it's riding about $167 a barrel right now. Then there's Brent, which I think is more tied in with England, and it's sitting at $113 a barrel. Then there's U.S., which I think they call WTI, right? That's the U.S. one. That's sitting at about $97 a barrel. So the price of oil is not quite as simple as they say. Chinese oil is very expensive right now because they're going through a problem. Trump is choking China. It's like, you want to do an invasion in Taiwan? Okay. We're going to make it as fucking hard as possible for you to do that. Have a good day. Thank you for your attention to this matter. In England, 113, not that bad. Again, they're making probably more of a hype about it, but so yeah, there's more going on. It's a multipolar and multidimensional chess. U.S. House tanks balanced budget amendment as national debt tops 39 trillion. I don't know if this is a bad thing because it's a stupid idea that does not help us in any way, shape, or form. What they were going to do is take the average of the budget over the last 3 years, and then it had to be like the average of that, which means you're never necessarily going down, or you're not going down fast enough. You're always going to go up a little bit because of the way budgets work. So it's going to average higher. It'll still be under the most recent year, so in that sense, it would be interesting. I don't know, it might start to bend us down, but whatever the case is, I feel like I like the Doge idea. I think most people do. Like, let's find all this fraud, waste, and abuse and figure out how to identify it. Like, if we can find all the bullshit Social Security numbers that are on the records out there and then hunt all of the databases for them, we'll stop. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. I guarantee it. All over the place, in every different kind of thing. Hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. Even if they were just able to look in all the places where they're seeing multiples of the same number being used. Shut that one down immediately. And then everybody that's using that number is like, well, isn't it working? It's not working? Oh, and they'll walk away. Be like, what's happening? And then there's just a cop waiting at their house when they get there. Here's the thing with the deep state system, guys. And I'm telling you, Fed chair says he'll stay in the Department of Justice if they don't drop the investigation. There is a war with the Fed right now. Also, Jerome Too Late Powell announces he's not going to lower interest rates. I don't know if I need to play this. Yeah, I'm not going to play it. But he announces he's not changing interest rates because of yada yada and such and such and uncertain with the Middle East. There's a war with the deep state. Asia Pacific allies ink a $56 billion deal with U.S. companies at Tokyo Forum. Deals being made with other companies, other countries. Tokyo specifically, Japan specifically. We have tariffs with them, and they're like, yeah, but we don't really import your shit. And we know that, and it's cool. So we have tariffs, big whoop. It doesn't really hurt them. We're still buddies, and we're still partnering up. And that's really what matters in the big picture. So it's still happening. Again, the headlines are making it sound like we're not getting along with these people. We're totally getting along with them. Big time. We're making $57 billion deals with them. Please. Oddly, everything's down. Well, it was last like an hour and a half ago. Close, even a little bit longer maybe. But we're looking down everywhere. Dow's not down like huge percentages per se. Gold and silver are down a crap ton today, which, by the way, I consider a very good thing in the big picture. What happened to Europe? Yeah, Europe's down hard. That's not a surprise. Asia's down hard. Okay. Futures, gold and silver down. So gold, is 4,600 right now. It's down a bunch. Silver's down a bunch too, 72. Again, I know it ain't staying there. I'm not worried about it. That's cool. But crude oil, the only thing that's up, barely. And our crude price is sitting at $97. Again, the Chinese crude price is very high. Guess whose market's having a really hard time right now? They're not necessarily crashing harder than us, but the whole world's economy is affected by it. Trump is preparing us for the complexity of the way these economies are intertwined. And, frankly, doing what it takes to break us all apart from that. And allowing people to do it. And allowing countries to do it, I should say. If you're in a 401k or an IRA, guys, your stock numbers, where are we? There we are. Your stock numbers are down kind of a bunch, unfortunately. We're at 45,888 in the Dow. It was at 50,000 not long ago. It's down over $4,000. Now, again, gold's down a bunch. It's not staying there. And actually, this just shows the signs of the dollars. Like the dollar somehow deflated in a good way. Like, I guess, became more valuable, actually. And that's why the price of gold went down. Again, it's a bobber. Holds your value. DRSlikesgold.com. Holds your value. This buy a handmade tailored suit back in 1915. Today, it buys a handmade tailored suit. Back in 1915, one Federal Reserve note would get you 30 Hershey chocolate bars, full-size chocolate bars, 30 of them, a case, plus, probably. Today, it gets you a discount bag of gummy bears. Maybe like, 8, 9 of them in there, and they're hard as hell. $1. Same thing, same Federal Reserve note. That's your buying power. Gold protects it. Now, again, it's down right now. It's cool. It means you can get it cheaper. base all this crap off spot price. It's always above spot. You always sell below spot. It's never at spot. Anybody that thinks that's going to happen, guess what? It's not. That's not how this game's played, okay? It's the way it is. Metals markets are not something you want to move in and out of frequently. It's something you want to move into and hang out for a little while and then move out when the time is right. And it will benefit you greatly to do that. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. If you've got a 401k or an IRA, you got pre-tax money, you've got the ability to move that money sideways, tax-free, penalty-free. Some of it, all of it, whatever. Protect as much of it as you want. Tax-free, penalty-free, sideways, up to 10% free silver with whatever you're bringing to the table, right? So if it's $250,000 or something crazy, it's 25 grand of free silver. It's a lot. And silver prices are the ones that are really going to spike. There's just a lot of talk. There's all sorts of contracts. There's even been some future contracts that have been kind of discussed and written about where the price is likely going to go and what they expect. And it's really close to 300 by the end of this year. And it's sitting 70 whatever right now, right? 72, what is it? 70. It's fantastic. That's awesome. If you've somebody that feels like maybe I wish I would have gotten in this, it's not too late by any stretch of the imagination. We've got a lot of crazy that's going on. Stock market's got a ways to go in the direction it's heading. You don't have to be a part of all that. You can protect your buying power, protect your wealth, protect yourself. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. My good friends at Goldco are going to rock and roll for you. 4 data points, hit the button. And also, if you qualify, I think there's a free Ronald Reagan silver coins, half-ounce coin. Literally, it's worth half of $70 right now, but whatever. It'll be worth way more than that here shortly. And it's got a picture of Ronald Reagan on it. It's very, very cool. So you can check that out. Actually, kind of surprised I didn't get one, but I don't need to, frankly. I love these guys. They're awesome. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Make that choice to protect yourself. And do it tax-free, penalty-free. And these guys have suppliers, and they can help you do it reasonably quickly. All major, this is the one that got me. This got me all fired up about people with artificial intelligence right now. So all major artificial intelligence systems, Supergrok, ChatGPT-5, and Google Gemini, independently concluded that vaccines cause autism after analyzing our landmark 82-page study. The 30-year lie is that vaccines don't cause autism has officially been terminated. Now, here's what I'm going to say. It's interesting. It's awesome. That's likely true. But the fact that these 3 AIs say that is not necessarily. You had them read a study and then ask them what their opinion was. And your study was showing that there was some causation for that. So I agree, 100%. Is it just those by themselves, or is it maybe the schedules? And if you don't do the schedules the way they do, then maybe it's not. I mean, again, I'm not pro-vaccine at all, but I'm pro-science for sure. And so, again, I don't know. I don't know if it's 100% sure that, quote, vaccines don't cause autism, end quote. Like, yeah, it is. I mean, is it the schedule of them? Is it the fact that we put so much of that stuff and all the weird crap in there that's meant to mess with your immune system while it's happening? Is a lot, you know? Maybe that causes some allergies and weird stuff. Like, right? Yeah, like there's a lot to be gleaned from that. And I think the studies, you know, again, I don't think things are as simple as everyone wants to say, but please don't assume something's true just because ChatGPT verified what you already thought, especially if you fed it something that was slanted in any sort of direction and then expect Grok to look elsewhere for other stuff just because you didn't ask, you know, again. We got to be careful, guys. Secretary of State Marco Rubio just slapped a giant old fee on people from different countries. I'm going to let him say them all. I actually had to learn how to say one of them, and I don't know if I can still do it. Yeah, no.
Our visa system, okay, who you allow to visit your country should reflect the national interest. We said that from the very beginning. It was one of the directives that we got from the president. It's one of the things he ran on. And so our visa process basically is, now there are some times we'll deny people visas because of activities they've undertaken overseas. Other times it's people that have visas but are in the United States doing things that run counter to our national interest. And the law gives us the right, and in fact, I would argue the obligation to remove people like that from our country. And we're going to continue to do it. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, sometimes somebody comes in and says, oh, I want to come in as a student. They're here as a student, and then once they're here, they're involved in nefarious activity. We're going to remove them from the country. But then maybe they're here as a researcher. Maybe they're here as, I don't want to say journalist because you guys will get upset, but it could be anything. These are visitors to the country. A visa is a visitor, it's not a right. By the way, we deny visas every day all over the world. People will go to an embassy, they'll sit for an interview, and the consular officer will deny them a visa because of something that came up in their record, because of something that came up in their interview, whatever it may be. So if you have the power to deny someone a visa before they get one, you most certainly have the power to revoke it once they get one and then do something they shouldn't be doing. So there's a variety of reasons why visas are denied, but all of them are because it implicates our national interest or national security in some way.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, I feel like that might be an older interview because I remember that. Apparently somebody saw the B-21 Raider actually in action in the Mojave Desert. It was refueling, so they're obviously doing some testing. Many are suspicious, and probably rightly so, that Trump is like, we need to get that ball rolling. We need these things in action. And it's B-21. A lot of people would say, isn't that just a smaller version of the B-2? I don't think it's smaller, by the way. I think it's actually, the payload, I think is bigger. It just looks weirder. But I think it's got more extensive camouflage going on than we understand. Like, it's the next generation of the stealth bomber. It's kind of like the F-22. In fact, there's a story. We'll talk about how one of the F-35s might have gotten shot down. And again, we're always tight-lipped about whether it did or didn't. And honestly, maybe it didn't, but they always want to make it sound like we suck. But it's the F-35. The F-35 is not the F-22. And it's kind of like the difference between the B-2 and the B-21. They're not the same aircraft. They might sort of look similar, but no. Right? U.S. Embassy issues a warning to Americans worldwide. And this is kind of focuses more in the Rome, Italy area. Italy is being attacked right now. Again, a lot of that likely tied into the fact that they're pulling away from World Health Organization, from the European Union. They are breaking away. So now all of a sudden they're getting attacked. Again, the deep state's running out of power and weapons for that matter. That's what Trump is doing right now. He's destroying the weapons producing capacity of the deep state, or at least isolating it solely to China at this point, in which case we can keep them in their place. We know that. We know what they're capable of, but I think that's where the Golden Dome comes into play. It's like, all right, China, it won't matter. Hypersonic, all right, well, the dome's going to get it. So, again, we'll see. A lot of people don't want to believe. A lot of people want to say, that's not true. I talked to this guy. This guy said we're not even close to that level of technology. First off, anyone that's been in the projects or is in one of those projects isn't talking about it. So if it's somebody that's talking about where they were back in the day, well, shoot, man, technology moves really quickly. Really quickly. Bill O'Reilly got pretty pissed off. I think he was on, Newsmax? Yeah, News Nation, I guess. And that's a perfect picture of him with his mouth agape. All said, I guess he gets a little pissy. Not in a bad way, in a good way, I guess. I figured you guys might kind of dig it. Check it out.
What do you make of the argument that our allies are leaving us behind and not helping us? I mean, you have the UK and France.
You sure you want to ask me this?
I would love to hear your answer.
Sure
I
you
think
want
the
to
alliances are changing. I would love to hear your
you
analysis of the allies in Europe.
Pavlich asked for this, okay? Germany's the worst. The absolute worst.
Worse than France.
Way worse. France is bad in Iraq. Okay?
But I mean right now, when the president's asking
Germany is the worst. Today, right this second, as we speak. To release a statement going, it's not our war. Arrogant beyond belief. Ever since World War II ended in 1945, we have carried them. 100% carried them. Defended them against Stalin and the communists. And they have the gall? Shut up. How do you say that in German? All right? I don't know. Shut up. If you don't like it, okay. But don't try to say it's not our war. You're a bunch of jerks. Okay? We saved your butt. I don't know how to say butt in German either.
Well, saving it
you
again now.
owe us. Okay. That's Germany. The worst. Biggest economy. Okay. Could be a help. Okay. France, wishy-washy. Depending on the day.
We don't even know if we want them involved.
Okay. Yeah. Spain, I throw them out of NATO. If I'm the president, they're gone. I put them on waivers, to use a baseball term. Hey, Spain, you want to be socialist, communist? Good. You're not in the alliance anymore. Okay?
Yeah, so he's fighting the fight, and that's exactly what we need to get accomplished here, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I got to finish the show, because I got to go live here in a second. In fact, I still got my Iran stuff, huh? Interesting. All right, well, we got a little more to go. Oh yeah, got to play this. Check this out.
those barriers. We continue to hunt and kill mine storage facilities and naval ammunition depots. We continue to hunt and kill afloat assets, including more than 120 vessels and 44 mine layers, and the pressure will continue. We're flying further to the east now and penetrating deeper into Iranian airspace to hunt and kill one-way attack garrisons, destroying Iran's ability to project power outside of its borders. The A-10 Warthog is now in the fight across the southern flank and is hunting and killing fast attack watercraft in the Straits of Hormuz. In addition, AH-64 Apaches have joined the fight on the southern flank, and they continue to work on the southern side, and that includes some of our allies who are using Apaches to handle one-way attack drones. In Iraq, AH-64s have been striking against Iranian-aligned militia groups to make sure that we suppress any threat in Iraq against U.S. forces or U.S. interests. And we remain focused on pursuit of any platform that Iran could field to harm Americans or our partners. Last Friday, Admiral Cooper and the CENTCOM team conducted precision strikes against more than 90 targets on Karg Island, which included all of their military-only infrastructure, which included air defenses, naval base, mine storage, and deployment facilities. And as the Secretary mentioned, we continue to strike against Iran's defense industrial base and will continue to do so. Today, I want to continue my theme of talking about members of our incredible joint force. Today, I want to talk about some exceptional airmen who are engaged in the fight daily. United States Air Force, Air Force Reserve, and Air National Guard crews within our bomber force, the B-1s, B-2s, and B-52s, and the airmen on the ground who maintain and load these weapon systems. They are the backbone of America's long-range strike capability, and their contributions to Epic Fury have been decisive. Assigned to STRATCOM under Admiral Rich Correll and supported by TRANSCOM, the tanker force that we've talked about, under the command of General Randall Reed, every mission is designed to achieve overwhelming outcomes on behalf of the United States and our allies. Last weekend, I had the chance to go out and see some of our deployed bomber forces, the B-1 and B-52 crews, and I had a chance to sit down with some young aviators and maintainers and ask them, how do you feel? Tell me about your typical day. And these are crews comprised of between 2 and 5 airmen, 2 on the B-2s, 5 on the B-52s, and 4 in the B-1s out there. Some of these Americans are in their early or mid-20s, and we give them the gift of this incredible responsibility, hundreds of thousands of pounds of aircraft, and they take off and go do our work as required. Their mission actually begins the day prior when they're given a target or a bunch of targets, and they begin to study those targets, look at what are the effects required, what are the weapons required to get there, how will we program these weapons, what is the weather, what is the tanker flow. It's an incredibly complex problem that we give each and every one of these crews, and they work it over the period of 24 hours prior, get some rest, and then step out the door to go fly. The last thing they do is they check all of their equipment, their oxygen masks, survival gear, load pistols, and get ready to go. They crank the jets about an hour prior to takeoff and then launch into the daylight, doing their pre-flight checks, and as the kids say, lock in and prepare to go.
So we are bringing it to them. And again, a lot of people want to say, no. Again, do they have the information? Are we being totally forthcoming with what we're actually doing and what we know has happened? No, we're not. We're not going to know. Again, they talk about the 80-20 thing. You guys remember that? Like, we're only going to know about 20% of this, and most of us are just like, that's the Epstein stuff. Dude, it's everything. Trust me, it's 80% of the shit going on. We will never have an idea of what the hell it is. I mean, I hope we get more than that one day. Trust me. Maybe there's times where I feel like I might be, 22%. I hope. Saudis unite Arab world against Iran. This is totally backfiring against Iran. Again, everybody's like, this is going to spread into a regional war. Yeah, it has. And the whole region's against Iran. That's your regional war right here. There you go. Trump did it. Abraham Accords got these agreements set up. Basically said, look, this is what's going to happen. They're going to be pissed. They're going to fire off shit at all you guys at our bases, whatever. All right, it's cool. It sucks, but as long as they're basically shooting at you guys. Now, they have hit some civilian stuff, which really pissed these guys off because that's against the rules. Not allowed to just blow up anything you want. Apparently, a F-35 fighter jet likely struck by Iran. I don't know who originally sourced this, but I'm sure it's alleged by some people that aren't listing who they are, right? Like, so, and it's CNN to put it out, but it probably came from somewhere else. Yeah, CENTCOM declined to admit this. Now, if it happened, we certainly would want to give them any heads up. If it didn't happen, or if, again, it's another friendly fire incident, the jet was able to limp its way back home, by the way, and the pilot survived, so it did land. It wasn't that extensive a problem, which makes it seem like maybe it got hit by gunfire. It's very possible. Took some shots to the wing, maybe started leaking fuel or something. Who knows, right? But I'm going to wait. I'm going to see. Again, nobody's necessarily going to trust what anyone says in the government. I get that, but I actually kind of trust Hegseth. I do totally trust Trump. I think Kash Patel's a guy that proved himself worthy. Hegseth proved himself worthy, in my opinion, during the time during Biden, essentially. I think that was really the tryouts was then. And I don't know. We'll see. I mean, what you guys think? It really does what matters. But Hegseth is asking Congress for $200 billion to help pay for future stuff. I can't wait to see how that discussion goes. We'll see. We'll get there. Media lawmakers downplay threat from Iran regime, but yeah, evidence is showing that the danger is legitimate. We talked about that already. We knew they had the abilities. Iran unleashes a fiery revenge on the Gulf oil hubs. Israel did a bad deed, and so they responded and retaliated. What the bad deed is this, and Donald Trump truthed this out. Israel, out of anger for what it's taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country of Qatar is in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this, or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help of consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long-term implications that it will have on the future of Iran. But if Qatar's LNG is attacked again, I will not hesitate to do so. Trump's raising the bar, big time on them. Qatar expels Iranian diplomats after the strike. So this is not causing a regional war in a bad way. This is causing a regional war in a good way. And yes, so Britain, European Union, and Japan has now announced some readiness to contribute. So they will be sending some craft and ships and whatnot down there. United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, and Japan are all going to try to help out. Tickle in the throat. Ukraine peace talks are suspended likely indefinitely, says Iran and Russia and Ukraine, likely because of Iran. Another thing that's kind of funny, because now all of a sudden Ukraine's probably not going to get any more money. Ukraine's not center stage. Nobody's thinking about Ukraine. Nobody's talking about Ukraine. Nobody cares about Ukraine. Everybody's talking about Iran. And little crybaby Zelensky is running out to Europe, England, trying to get money. He's got housing bills and stuff he's got to pay. They're screwed. And his country is going to probably lynch him if he doesn't figure out how to make this happen. So he's trying to get a loan from the European Union, which they'll never pay back. And Hungary's like, no, we're vetoing this. So now the European Union's threatening to take away Hungary's ability to veto unless they vote for this. Oh, the EU. You guys are cute. Anyway, people are figuring it out. That's all there is to it. I feel like I had a couple woo stories or something. Oh, yeah, just real quick, Apple News stories from conservatives outlets. It's getting better. It went from 0% to 2% in February. So if you're using Apple News, and because a lot of you guys are iPhone users, and you know I hate, but I'm just saying there's reasons why. I don't hate, dislike. Apple is at some point. I'm still waiting. At some point, they're gonna block truth. They're gonna block truth. They're gonna remove it from your phones. You will have no ability to see it because they want to. That's the only place where Trump can say the truth. They're gonna do one last push. I think maybe we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how. I mean, we maybe are doing so good that they won't be able to pull that off. There's a high possibility of that, but there's the expectation. Google's going to do some weird stuff too. Poor YouTube people. A lot of these people that try really hard to keep their YouTube channels and are sort of feeling good about them right now. And I admit, I'm back on YouTube too. But my number of views is minuscule compared to everywhere else. Everywhere else is where I focus, and that's where the truth actually is, because I have to censor stuff on YouTube. I don't have to anywhere else. Nowhere else that I'm on. Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, where else? X. None of those places do I ever have to edit. Brighteon. I actually get a decent number of views over there. Not as many as YouTube. YouTube beats, but still, whatever. Former Air Force claims there's UFOs were disabled, or UFOs were disabling nuclear missiles. I've actually heard this from a number of people, not just this Robert Salas guy. I've heard this from a number of people. So again, there's a lot of reasons why I don't believe we'll be allowed to use nuclear weapons. They can threaten it all they want. They're not allowed, period. Just aren't. Guys, a lot going on. I got a live show that's supposed to happen in literally 48 minutes, and it's going to be tight today. That said, I love you all, and we will continue rocking and rolling. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.